Hello everyone, do you hear me please? Can you someone say if you can hear me? Hello, if can someone please write and say if you can hear me please? Hello, if can someone please write and say if you can hear me please? Okay, very good. Thanks, Milan. So I will start directly now this webinar. So first of all, welcome everyone to this webinar. I have just added here also that you can write your questions, so we can see directly now live. It's next to me in this side actually, or this side, I'm not sure. So you can just ask your questions if you have any question regarding this topic that I'm going to speak about, which is how to find or what are the best IT tracks that we have to follow to be able to advance our career. So first of all, I would like to say that I hope that every one of you is doing well and you are also safe from COVID-19. So it looks like there is a second round for COVID-19 here in Europe. It is increasing a lot. I'm not sure in your countries, but I hope that it will reach to an end, and also I hope that a vaccination will be found very soon. Now back to our discussion. I'm going to speak about what is the best way for you as students to be able to advance your career in IT. So there are different ways for that, but I would like first to divide this into two parts. The part which is part one, which is for students who are university graduated students. So that means the young people who just finished their study now, or they are still studying, but also they are interested in IT. They are studying IT and interested in IT. So this is the part one. Part two is for people who are already in the business of IT. So people who have already the experience in IT and they want also to make a little bit their knowledge to go higher, so they can, for example, get a better salary or they can change their job for a better position. So that's also I will address my discussion for them. So if I want to start first about what is for the two parts the best career that you have to take, or the best course. Actually, you know, there are different courses in the IT. I'm talking here, when I say IT, I'm not talking about the system operators, like not talking about Windows or talking about Linux or this is the operating system. So that is something I'm not talking about. I'm talking about the engineering in the part of networking. So something like routers, switches, security, firewall, VPN, those things. So I would like to say that I take myself as an example. When I started my studies, I have studied, of course, I have a bachelor in computer communication and a master in computer science. But when I was planning to go more into IT, first I have enrolled in Cisco. So I have taken Cisco course, and actually I have taken the CCNA. So I have followed the CCNA with the Cisco Network Academy. So Cisco they have two different ways that you can study Cisco. I'm talking here about authorized courses. You can either go via the Cisco Network Academy, or you can go via the Cisco Learning Partner. The difference between the two is that in case you are a student, you don't have knowledge in networking, so you don't have any background and experience in networking, and you are just now start learning networking, so you better go to Cisco Network Academy and not to Cisco Learning Partners. Why is that? Because in Cisco Network Academy, they will make for example, the CCNA course. It would take something like 6 months to be covered. You can imagine CCNA course up to 6 months to be covered. Some network academy can even go more than that. That means what? That means that you go in chapter by chapter. So they have different curriculum. Now they have updated their curriculums. There are 3 curriculums, and in each curriculum there are different modules. So you take module 1, for example, which is chapter 1. They go in details about the information and the technologies. They really go in details. So you have to think it's like speaking about what is the OZ model, what is the TCP/IP, what are the for example, each of the layer, for example, on the transport layer, there is TCP and UDP. What is TCP? What is UDP? How TCP works? And then they go more in details inside TCP, explaining about the 3-way handshake, explaining about the windowing, explaining about the flow control. So they really go in details, and when I say details, in deep details, and they don't speak about anything about Cisco actually in the first module. Maybe a little bit, but not a lot. Most of the things they do, they go in details about networking basics. And that's what I think that every one of you should know, the networking basics, before he start going to, for example, learning how to configure a firewall, or how to make VoIP, or how to do video conference and whatsoever. All right, so that's why I highly advise that any one of you that he wants to start his career now, and he just still in university and just now starting to learn networking, to go to Cisco. But do not go to Cisco Learning Partner, because I'm going to say in a moment what is Cisco Learning Partner, but go to Cisco Network Academy. They explain to you everything. You have hands-on labs, you practice everything, and it takes 6 months, up to 6 months, to finish the Cisco CCNA. And also you will have exam for every chapter you learn. You will do an exam, and by end of each of the curriculum you have to do an exam for the whole modules that you have learned. So it's really in depth, and I really advise you to, if you want to start learning Cisco or to start IT and you don't have any knowledge, please go to that track. Now, Cisco Network Academy, the good news that I want to say to you now, that I'm going to start, or I have already applied to become a Cisco an academy trainer for Cisco. So that means I can also teach authorized courses for Cisco based on their syllabus on the Cisco Network Academy. So I'm now having this by next month, so I'm going to work on it. I have to pass through many exams, and then if I pass everything, then I become a Cisco certified academy trainer or instructor, which was, they call it CCAI, Cisco certified Cisco academy instructor. So that's the first side that I want to say. So let's put it like this. First, you always have to start with Cisco if you want to start learning IT. If you are a student, go to the CCNA with the Cisco Network Academy. If you are already someone who has experience in IT, then you can go to the Cisco Learning Partner. So also that's authorized course by Cisco, but it is for another model, which is for people who already have the experience. So what does it mean here with the Cisco Learning Partner? Instead of taking CCNA for 6 months, you take the CCNA. Before the new version of CCNA, it was 5 days plus 5 days, so it was 10 days in total. Now I'm not sure if it's 5 or 10 days, but you can imagine it's not 6 months. So it is 5 days from 8 to 5, from 9 to 5 actually, including labs and everything, but they go very fast to it because they have to cover CCNA completely. So that's also possible in case you have the experience. You can go to the Cisco Learning Partner. So to make it a summary, always start with Cisco if you really want to start in IT. That's my advice for you. That's what I've done, and because then after you learn all the basic things and everything from Cisco, then any new brand is gonna be very easy for you to learn. But also Cisco, they are very long time doing training courses, so they have developed very nice contents for you to study them, and with a lot of animation, a lot of pictures, so to make things more easy for you to learn. So that's why I really advise everyone to start, before doing anything, start with Cisco, at least the CCNA level. All right. Now, of course, I can say to you that I also have a course for Cisco CCNA Volume 1, which is something like 50% of the whole CCNA. You can also take my course. I teach it in the simplest way possible. So this also can be in replacement of maybe, I cannot say it's a replacement, but it can be like helping you to be able to also understand the CCNA very well. All right. So that's what I say first, Cisco CCNA. Now, after you take the Cisco, the CCNA, and you have the experience, then what is the next step you have to go? If you want to go to MikroTik, or you want to go to Ubiquiti, or you want to go to LigoWave, or you want to go to Huawei, or you want to go to any other brand. So what is the best to do? Well, actually here, I would say it depends on what you are doing. In case, for example, you are going to apply for a new job, you didn't start working, you just fresh graduate students, you have finished your university, and now you want to start working. And I would say Cisco is still the best to go, because up to now it has really the biggest market share at this moment. So most of companies prefer, even though that the product of Cisco is very expensive, but a lot of companies, they still prefer to work on Cisco products. That you can see it in Europe, you see it in America, you see it in everywhere in the world, that Cisco is still the dominant of the market. Now, in case, for example, you wanted to just start something else than Cisco, then you have to see on where you are based, which of the brands are being more used. So you have to make your research first, and you have to check. In case you see that there are a lot of MikroTik products used, then I would say go for MikroTik. And as you know, I do have a lot of online courses for MikroTik. So first you go to MTCNA. But I again say that before going to MikroTik, to the MTCNA, please go to the CCNA, because the MikroTik MTCNA is a very nice course. But the problem with those courses, they just make them in 2 days. They don't give a lot of information. So someone doesn't know what is the network basics and just go to MTCNA to get the certificate, he still doesn't understand really how the networking works. And then it is an issue, because when you want to start working on MikroTik routers, for example, and configure it, you really need to have the background of the networking. So that's why I say always go to Cisco first, study it, then start looking what you want to do. Now, if you go to MikroTik, then of course I would say first MTCNA, 2 MTCRE, 3 MTCSE. Those are the best tracks that you can go. So MTCNA, global idea of MikroTik. You can see the routing, you can see the quality of service, you can see the VPN, but of course on the associate level. Then you go in deep into the routing using the MTCRE, and then you go more in deep on the security using MTCSE. Now, if you want to gain more knowledge, then you go to MTC-TCE, and you can go to MTC-INE, so you work on BGP, MPLS, VPLS, and all of those. So, as you know, I do have already all those courses online. So, of course, they are not authorized courses. So, I just made them myself, my way. But they take all the contents that you can find them in MikroTik on those courses, and I explain them with a lot of labs, so you can cover them. So, if you want to go to MikroTik, do that. But before that, you have to do the CCNA, and you have to search if your market is, they have a lot of MikroTik products, and a lot of people who use MikroTik, so then go to it. If you see that Ubiquiti is mostly used, then go to Ubiquiti, but also check on Ubiquiti what is mostly used. Is it the routers or the switches, or is it more the wireless? Because on Ubiquiti you have the tracks for switching and routing, you have tracks for wireless. So you have to define which one is the one which is mostly used, and based on that you can take the track that you want. And MikroTik, if you want to take an authorized course, you can go to their website, search for a training, register to it, and then follow it with a trainer, authorized trainer, to be able to do the exam. Now, the certificate level, if you want to compare it to Cisco or MikroTik, is not really, I would say, equivalent. Cisco has always the highest privilege in the market. So someone who has a Cisco certificate has more power, I would say, in the market than someone has the MikroTik certificate. And in case someone has Cisco or Ubiquiti, I would say Ubiquiti is having now somehow starting to have the certificate more powerful, but still it's way far from Cisco. Now, there is an interesting also product which is called the LigoWave. I'm not sure if you have heard about it. I'm a LigoWave authorized trainer. LigoWave is something like Ubiquiti, and so they do wireless products. They do the wireless for the LAN, wireless LAN, and wireless for outdoor. These products are very good, very efficient, but there are not a lot of market, I would say, for people who are LigoWave certified, unless you go to a company which works on LigoWave and they say to you, you have to be certified by LigoWave to join us to take the job, then I would say LigoWave, you should consider it the last thing you have to think of at this moment, because if you compare it to Cisco, to MikroTik, to Ubiquiti, I would say LigoWave is inferior to all of those. All right. So now, in case you want to learn LigoWave, I also have a course which is an authorized course. That means if you register to it, you can also do the exam. So I can open for you the exam. If you pass the exam, you can get the certificate. Now, the last thing that I want to speak about is Huawei. All right. Oh, someone is saying that the audio is too low. Can you please confirm if it's now better? Can you please say if now it's better? I just put the microphone close to me now. Let's have a look. Should be okay, I think. What about now? What about now? Is it fine now? Is it okay now? Because I just moved to another microphone. Okay. Strange, because I'm using a very professional microphone. All right, so I will continue. Maybe I can add some gain on the microphone. I hope now it's more clear. All right, I will continue now discussing. So I was saying that there is now an interesting also things that we see in the market, which is Huawei. You know them already, I think, from the mobile phone, and you know that Huawei is a very big company. It's a Chinese company. It's one of the biggest competitor of Cisco, and they have a lot of low cases against each other, I think, between Cisco and Huawei, because there is one case which is open from Cisco against Huawei, that they have used the same somehow the same command line that they are used on Cisco. So if you know Cisco very well, it's not very hard to learn Huawei, because, for example, on Cisco you say show IP interface brief to see the IP address and to see if the interfaces what the IP addresses they have. On Huawei you say display IP interface brief. On Cisco show IP interface brief. So you see it's very similar between Cisco and Huawei. Now there are a lot of market now going to Huawei, especially I think more in Africa and in the Middle East. You can see that those products are being shown up more, routers, switches, and so forth. from Huawei, because one, they are cheaper from Cisco. Two, they are also very reliable. So cheaper and reliable, and they can support a lot of traffic. So a lot of people like to go to Huawei. But the problem is that I would say that the support from Huawei is not as professional as for Cisco, and the other thing is that you cannot have a lot of materials that you can find as you find for Cisco. For example, if you go to Amazon.com and you search for Cisco books, for example, for CCNA, you can find plenty of books written by many authors. And if you want to look for videos, you can search also for videos, online courses for Cisco. You can find plenty, while in Huawei you don't find that. And even the courses that they created themselves, Huawei, they don't give it public anymore to students. Before it was possible, and now it's not possible. Same if you think of the simulator, and that Cisco, they can provide packet tracer, and everyone can use it, while Huawei, they have something called ENSP, and it was public, but now they just stopped it. So you cannot get it anymore from their website. So I would say that finding the resources to be able to learn Huawei is not as easy as you can do it on Cisco. Now the market share for Huawei is even much less than Cisco. That's for 100% sure. But in case you are in a market where you can see a lot of Huawei products, then you can go to that track. And I also have courses for Huawei, and it's only for the HCIA level. All right. So that's what I would like it to today to speak about. So which track to go? Again, if you trust what I'm saying, I would say go directly first to Cisco. Start learning Cisco, the CCNA level, and believe me, once you do that, you can find out that you can go to any other products, and it will be much easier. The only thing you need to do is to practice them, to practice, for example, how to put an IP address on Cisco. You put it in a way, but putting an IP address on the interface of Huawei, you put it in another way. So it's just the matter of the command. But for example, OSPF on Cisco is the same as a concept as OSPF you make it on MikroTik, or as OSPF you create it on Ubiquiti, or as OSPF you create it on Huawei. So that's why you study first OSPF very well on Cisco, and then you can see that you can apply it on all the other brands. And you see, I'm a Cisco guy at the beginning. For example, I learned OSPF, but I did a course OSPF on MikroTik. And also, when I was teaching about the Ubiquiti routing and switching, there were a section about OSPF. I could show it how to configure it on Ubiquiti. And I have on my course on Huawei also OSPF. I showed how you can configure. So you can see that learn everything, take the main things from Cisco, and from there you can move forward. All right. Now I think we are already 20 minutes live. So let's now put time for your questions. So if anyone have any question, please let me know. I can read your question now directly on my screen. Yeah, how many hours content will you have on your CCNA course? At this moment, I have only the volume 1, which is the funny thing that I have the books in front of me now, so I can show you. So this is the book for, let me move it like this. So this is volume 1. So you can see how big is the book. So this is the official certificate book that is by Cisco Press. Okay, and this is CCNA volume 1, and this is the second one, which is volume 2. It's a little bit slimmer than this one. So if you put them side by side, so you can see that the CCNA 1 is much bigger than CCNA volume 2. So I have already done the volume 1, and it is 14 hours for now, but I'm going to do the volume 2 at this moment because I'm preparing for the Cisco Instructor Academy that I'm going to do it by next month. So that means in a few days from today. So that's why I didn't start yet doing the volume 2, but I have the book, I read it, and I saw what they have already explained. I'm going to do the volume 2. So volume 1 is 14 hours. Volume 2, I'm not sure yet, but I think it's going to be also more than 10 hours. So in total, you have to think between 25 to 30 hours, the whole CCNA. Now I have another question. Is there a list to see the most used enterprise networking vendors in various continents, Europe, Africa, Asia, and so forth? I think there, if we look to Google, I don't have this myself, but I think if you look on Google, you search for that, you can see, and you can maybe search for keywords like Cisco VS, for example, Huawei, market share, for example, or something like this. Then you can find out also the what are the market share for each of the company as the IT product. I would say something here. Huawei is number one in the telecommunication. So when I talk about telecommunication, that means 3G, 4G, 5G, those products. They are really very, very familiar. Even in here in Europe, they sell a lot of those products. But when I talk about the IT, like routers, switches, and so forth, Cisco is the number one. Now, the other thing that students always ask about Cisco is like, shall we study routing and switching or security, or what should we study? Because Cisco, they have different tracks now. They changed it now in 2019, but still they say that this for part of this for security, that is for collaboration and so forth. So I would say always start by routing and switching. All right, so please start routing and switching, because there you will get the whole information for networking, and that's really important that you have them. All right, are there any other questions for this webinar before I end it? Let's see if we still have any questions. Do you reckon with your CCNA and CBT nuggets we could pass the exam? I don't know anything about CBT nuggets, to be honest with you. So I've never, I heard about them, but I've never seen what they do. But I can say to you that if you take my course, the chance is very, very high that you can pass the CCNA, because on my course I'm speaking about the theory, but also I'm doing a lot of labs together, and to show you and to prove for you how the configuration is needed to be happening. Because on the Cisco exam they will ask you questions about labs, so you got simulation labs you have to configure. So taking my course, I would say, is enough, but if you take something more with my course as well, then I'm sure that you will be able to pass the exam without any problem. But for a condition that you have some knowledge in IT, all right? Because yeah, I would say not really IT, but you know how to put your computer on, you know how to work on the computer, writing emails, something like this. But not someone who doesn't know anything, never worked on a computer, and now he want to learn CCNA. No, that wouldn't be possible. Now that's a question here. Any plan on doing the Cisco Encore course? Yes, that's possible. That's possible to do the CCNP course in the future. But now first I need to focus on becoming again a Cisco Academy trainer, and then to finish the volume 2, and after that I have to see the upcoming course that's gonna be. But of course I'm not going to stop doing courses. Up to now I have 40 courses in total, and you can see that I started with MikroTik, then I moved a little bit to Huawei and then LigoWave, and then I continue MikroTik, and then I started Ubiquiti, and now I'm doing Cisco. So for me that's fun to do the courses. I just do them really for fun. Of course, for business, I can't neglect that. I can't say that I don't make money out of that. Of course, everyone want to work, has to do money. But there is a big difference that someone is doing something, or he's working, but he's not happy with what he's doing, but just working to take money. And if there is someone who's having the patience to do the work, and at the same time he's doing the money. So I'm from the second category. So is there any other question, guys, for me to ask? Any question, even though outside this topic, if you have any other question, so I can answer to you before we end this webinar. Someone is saying, I think MikroTik is eventually the future. Well, MikroTik is really an important thing, by the way. Huh? Don't take me wrong. Most of my courses, I have over 85% or maybe 90% of my courses are based on MikroTik, and I love MikroTik. MikroTik is really the best. But MikroTik, the problem is that once you go to a level on MikroTik that you are putting, for example, equipment for core layers and you have a huge traffic and, then MikroTik performance is not to the level as if you are having a core router from Cisco. That's one of the things. But apart of that, MikroTik, the things that MikroTik can do is unbelievable. Like you can do routing on the same product. Routing, when I say routing, static route, default route, floating route, OSPF, RIP, BGP, MPLS. So that's only routing. You do switching, VLAN, spanning tree, whatever. You can do wireless, point to point, point to multi-point, mesh, repeater, whatever. I can't remember everything. You can do quality of server. You can do firewall. You can do really a lot of things on one product, and you do have one license. You pay for the equipment, it comes with a license, and it's forever. So it's amazing, and I'm really in love with MikroTik. When I came from Cisco and I started working with MikroTik, I would look at the product. It's like, hey, this product is really nice because you can do a lot of things on it. And while on Cisco, for everything you have to buy a license, and you have to the license you have to renew it every year. So it's totally different, and that's why I can say yes. But the only thing that I can say on MikroTik is the performance in some levels. It's not to the level when we are talking here about very huge traffic. Someone is asking, I have almost done all your courses, now certified in MTCRE, should I do the MTCINE? Yes, definitely. If you have done the MTCRE and you are already certified, go for the MTCINE. And I think the sir here, he has written for me today a very nice review about the MTCINE. So now I can say to you live, thank you very much for your review. It made my day. And it was on my course, the MTCINE. Now the other question, for the MTCINE, which of your course should I take? Well, actually, I do have a course called a MikroTik Internetworking Engineer with Labs. That's the MTCINE. So I'm taking the whole track. It's called MikroTik MikroTik Internetworking Engineer with Labs. I just have a surprise for you now before we finish that. So please, Mr. I don't know what's the name, the Zeus. So if you can just stay with me, because I'm going to give a discount now for all my courses. I'm going to say that in a moment. So if you want to take the course from my website, I will give you the coupon, and you can use this coupon to get a discount on any of my courses. Now I have almost done all your courses, now certified. Okay. I think you have already asked this question. Okay, or what should you recommend for better career? I recommend to go to Cisco if you didn't start Cisco. So please, if you already are taking the MikroTik courses and you have done some good things, you got the MTC RE and now the MTCINE, you are going to do it. So please do that. And then after that, so you have MikroTik, then you have Cisco, then you can get really a better career for you in the future. All right, so any other questions, guys? If not, then I have to mention to you that for everyone who's taking now or watching me on the webinar, so I'm doing now a promotion for you, but also for anyone else who are going to watch this video because it's going to be hosted on YouTube. There is a discount of 20% off on any of my courses which are on my website, mynetworktraining.com. So my website, mynetworktraining.com, you can go there and you can choose any of the courses, whether it is monthly or yearly or even single courses. Any of those subscription, you just go there and put the coupon carrier, CAREER. I will write it also here so you can see carrier. So please use this coupon carrier, and then when you do the purchase, so you go and you select the course you want, whether monthly subscription or single courses. Just go there, click on it. When you want to make the payment, put carrier on the coupon, then you get directly 20% discount, and this is only valid for 2 days, so 48 hours starting now. All right, so please be careful that you do that and you profit from the discount. Just go and take the course you want and put the coupon carrier, and you can get 20% discount. All right. Whether there are any plans to update MikroTik courses with the latest updates to MikroTik Router OS. Well, the question that you are asking now is that there is no way that every time I make a course, later I have to renew everything, because, for example, OSPF on the version that we worked on, the 6.35, for example, and now we are 6.47.4, OSPF is still the same on MikroTik Router OS. Still the same. They didn't do anything. So the same way that you can do it on the old version of the Router OS and the new version of Router OS, the same thing you do, then there is no need to repeat the course again just because they renewed the Router OS. Once I see that they made a major changes, like on the BGP or OSPF or any of the things that I have taught, if they made any major changes, then in this case I will change completely the course. And that's something I have done it on one of my course, which is MikroTik Labs for Beginners. So they on the course I was teaching about the master and slave ports. They have taken this out, so I have changed the whole course and I made something else. Okay. Someone is saying about IP version 6 today. Is it relevant topics nowadays? Yes, it is very relevant. I will advise you to study in it because it's on IP version 6, and IP version 6 is now the future. No, don't change the course. Keep on the IP version 6 and then buy the security course after that. So then you can profit from learning IP version 6 and the security. How much is the MikroTik Hoplite? Thanks. I don't know. I think it's something like, should be 50 I think USD or something. So you should check this in with your distributor or the company that they sell that, but something like 50 euros or 50 USD. All right. So I think that's enough for now. So I thank you very much for your time you spent with me today. I just made this webinar just to have some interaction with you, because I can see that there are not a lot of things happening now on my Facebook group or on the YouTube channel. So that's why I decided to let you see me, and we speak live, and then I also explain to you what is the best to do for your career. And of course you can still profit from the 20% discount on any of my courses on my website using the coupon, which is carrier. So thank you very much for your whole time, and I wish you the best for your life and for your future. And I hope to see you in some other webinars. Bye bye.